this? Like, I don't understand. Hi, my lovelies, it's Rebecca Rogers. Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. You are in for a giant treat. We're gonna get a little closer look at what it's like to be a bus driver, because we just can't make this stuff up. In this series, we look at different occupations and really the craziness that they have to go through. We started in education-based fields, we've branched out, and we just really want to appreciate all of the underappreciated workers of the world. And today, we're looking at bus drivers. I asked my Facebook and Instagram followers, hey, if any of you guys are bus drivers, what's the craziest thing that you've seen while on the job? And here are 15 of their answers. One time, a kid rolled down the window and stuck his head out to yell at another kid who got off the bus. I told him to get down and sit, but of course he didn't listen. Later, I got a call from my boss because apparently a parent saw the kid stick his head out the window and complained that I allowed that to happen. Of course. Gretchen, if your own children don't listen to you, why do you assume that they listen to all the other adults the first time they ask them to do something? Every single occupation that interacts with your children can't all be wrong when we all say the kids don't listen. But also, like, if you genuinely believe a bus driver would allow that to happen, why are you letting them on the bus? I'm not saying a bus driver would ever allow that to happen. I'm saying that if you really think that's possible, why do you send them? That also goes for the parents that are like, teachers are indoctrinating our kids. Okay, Gertrude, then why are you sending them to school? And then I always love the response that's, well, we're going to private school. Okay, so you're concerned about indoctrination from public school, so you're going to pull your kid from the curriculum that everyone in the world kind of gets and put them in a curriculum that you can control what they learn because you're worried about indoctrination? That makes sense. I once had a kid who was punching and kicking other students, so I made her sit right behind me, away from everyone else for the rest of the ride home, as both a punishment and to keep the other kids safe. I was then called into a meeting with my supervisor and her mother, because apparently I only moved her because I'm racist white trash and I deserve to be fired. I tried to explain what the kid was doing to the others, but no, her baby would never do that, and I'm clearly just making it up because I'm racist. If I had a nickel for every parent that was like, my baby would never do what you're accusing them of doing, why do you think a grown adult would go out of their way to just make up an entire scenario? In what world is your kid so significant in some random stranger adult's life that they're like, yup, that's the kid, I'm going out of my way to make them miserable and lie about them just because I want to? Your kid's not the main character in other people's lives. Years ago, forecasts called for snow and the school system didn't close school. Halfway through the day, the school system decided, oh, we should probably close early due to weather, and insisted we shuffle the kids onto the buses as quickly as possible. But by then, it was too late because a bunch of buses got stuck in the snow in the middle of the highway with kids on them. Literally got stuck as the drivers were trying to get the kids home. On top of all that, a lot of these drivers got cussed out by the parents as if we made the calls and if we caused all this. We tried our best. I genuinely wonder if this came from someone in my county. What was it, 2007? Something so similar happened. They should have called school and they didn't. My mom just so happened to be volunteering at the school for something. She did that a lot. And so she's like, oh, this weather looks questionable. Let's go, Rebecca. So she just took me home. And I think a bunch of kids got stuck either on the bus or at school that night. Like, it was a whole fiasco. I wonder if this is a completely separate incident or if this is the same incident. I don't know. There was a kid who kept trying to stand when I drove, and of course, I kept telling him to sit down, because that's not safe. He kept giving me dirty looks the rest of the way home, and when he finally got dropped off, he picked up a rock and threw it at the bus. It cracked the windshield really bad. And guess who was held responsible for it? Not the kid. I wish I could say that surprised me in the slightest bit. Stop making fun of me because I smile when I say upsetting things. It just happens. It just happens, okay? One time, these elementary schoolers were trading Pokemon cards and one of them stabbed the other over one card. It wasn't even a rare card. Over a Pokemon card? And Pokemon Pokemon is serious business. No, that's bad. You don't stab other people. What is wrong with you? This is gonna go back to that whole teachers should just let the stabbing happen when like kids try to stab them with pencils. I did a whole skit thing on that. Apparently that's a thing. We're not gonna get off track today. Y'all know I'm the queen of getting off track and finding things to ramble about. Not today. It all starts with playing nice with others. Don't stab each other over Pokemon cards. It's not even a rare one. The school bus I drove was having its tires changed, and I guess whoever did the job didn't finish. The day I got the bus back, halfway through dropping the kids off at home, one of the tires somehow detached and just rolled away. No idea how that works or how that happened, but you can rest assured I was the one yelled at for the delay getting the rest of the kids home. Let me tell you something. One of my best friends, her name is Lauren, she teaches 3rd grade. I'll never forget helping her get her first classroom set up. Her globe still said Yugoslavia in the USSR. I'm sure there's a lot of children hearing this thinking, I have no idea what that is. Correct, children, because it doesn't exist anymore. They have not existed for decades, and they're still on the school globe. So no, it does not surprise me that they didn't care to finish to look that the tires were on the bus correctly either. I know some people are gonna be like, that's so different, because safety. This is the public school system. I never said it was important. I said that the public school system is not thorough like that. That's what I said. And it's not that they don't want to be, they don't have the funding and they don't have the staff. That just is what it is right now. An elementary schooler on my bus kept shouting that he had to go to the bathroom. I told him I was getting him home as quickly as I possibly could. About 5 minutes later, the boy just walks into the aisle, pulls his pants down, and pees everywhere. I told the mom who was waiting at the stop, and all she had to say was,
"Yep, this route is definitely too long. How are the kids supposed to hold it?"
Could he not go before he gets on the bus? I don't know about other places, but the elementary schools around here, like the bus routes might be, what, 20, 30 minutes? Again, I've never taught in elementary school. It's been a long time since I was a student in elementary school. I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine this route would be more than 30 minutes, 45 maybe? Do your kids have that long of a ride to get home? And yeah, I know someone's gonna bring up maybe he has a medical thing. Okay, maybe he does, but if that's the case and he can't hold it for that long, someone should probably pick him up from school. Or he should have some kind of alternate route. But that's not a, oh, well, yeah, that's fine, just go pee on the bus. While I was driving home, I had some class clowns throw carrots at me while I was driving. After the 15th carrot that I ignored while driving and begging the kids to stop, I caught the next one and tossed it back behind me. Didn't receive any more carrots. What I did receive was a call from my supervisor screaming because a parent called pissed that I was just chucking carrots at kids. We just can't win. Again. What grown adult would just be like, you know what I want to do today? Chuck the food that I bought at kids? You seem to be forgetting that bus drivers, along with teachers, don't get paid enough, right? What person who's already not getting paid enough for the job that they do is gonna go buy a whole thing of carrots and waste that just throwing it at children? What individual who needs that job is going to risk it just cause, you know, it seems fun today, chucking carrots at kids? Can you give me a reason that a grown adult would risk that paycheck just to throw carrots at your child? Can we not use those critical thinking skills before screaming at adults for things that don't really make sense? Now again, are there crazies out there? Yes, there are crazies out there. But 9 times out of 10, no, your kids are lying to you. They just are. One time I was driving kids home and there was a dude walking around outside completely naked. He was high out of his mind. Later, had a parent call my supervisor demanding to know why I allowed that to happen. As if I have control over random people on the street. What did you want him to do, Susan? I can guarantee you no one on that day wanted to see that gentleman walking around outside. No one called him up and was like, hey, you know what you should do? Come walk in front of this school bus butt naked. I knew a fellow bus driver who drove up to McDonald's, left the kids on the bus, and came back with McDonald's breakfast. Yes, the kids were late to school, and no, he's not my colleague anymore. That's an example of one of the crazies, okay? That is an example of one of the few people out there who like, wow, you really did that crazy, insane thing. No sane employers can be like, oh, a grown man threw carrots at children, we're just gonna keep him. No. So rest assured, if your kid says an adult did something crazy and they're still there, it's very likely that your kid made it up or exaggerated. This is one of the cases where they weren't. And again, they were dealt with. A kid brought a pocket knife onto the bus and thought it would be funny to shatter one of my windows with it. Ha ha. It would have been even funnier if his family was the one responsible for the damages. But they weren't. So are we just not holding people accountable for damaging property anymore? Is that a thing? Because between these bus stories and that devious licks thing that happened last fall, almost about a year ago, is that not a thing anymore? We're not holding people accountable? Just checking. My supervisor once got a call from a pissed off parent because her 12-year-old apparently kissed a boy on the bus. It was a consensual thing. The mom was just mad that I let her 12-year-old do that. I said, ma'am, I wasn't in the back of the bus with them. I didn't even see it happen. She demanded to know what was I doing that was so important that I couldn't supervise her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend in the back of the bus. I don't know, Susan, driving? I feel like that happens a lot. You know, there are kids that go to the back of the bus and hide behind the seats for a reason. Because sometimes they're not doing things that they're supposed to be doing. And they hide from the adult in charge on purpose. If someone's physically driving, like that's what they gotta do. They gotta focus on driving. They can't go and sit in the back while they're driving. And if your kid's not doing what they're supposed to be doing on the bus, maybe they don't need to be riding the bus. On the first day of middle school, I was picking up kids and the mom of one of them had a billion questions for me to make sure I was certified to be driving her kid to school. I assured her I was. I get it, parents can be protective. But then I noticed the mom got in her car and started following the bus. When I dropped the kids off at school, she came back around to my door and let me know she was tracking my speed and routes to ensure I was driving safely. She then told me she would be doing this every day. Lady, if you're making the drive anyways, why don't you just drive your kid to school? Right, if you're that skeptical about someone who's driving your child and you're making the drive every day anyways, why don't you just drive your kid? And this is a middle school parent, so it's not like a parent whose kid's going to school for the first time. Maybe they had some bullying issues in the past. I don't know what would cause this parent to do that. And I know the argument could be, oh, well, the kid wants to ride the bus with his friends. But do the friends not make fun of him for his mom following the bus every day? A little girl got on my bus and spit coins out of her mouth into her hands. She offered them to me and said she had her bus fare. I said, honey, this is a school bus. You don't need a fare, so you can just keep your coins. She looked like she was gonna cry and said, but this is how they did it in the movie. I said, I appreciate it, but she could just keep her money. She went to go sit down and her dad yelled from outside,
Hey, she was so excited about that. You couldn't just take the coins and make her day?
I responded back with, if you wanted me to take them, you should have made sure that she didn't put them in her mouth first. I never once felt bad about not taking those coins. That's nasty. Oh, she put them in her mouth and the dad just expected you to take her spit-covered coins? I was dropping kids off one day and one car that was driving down the street wasn't stopping, even though my stop signal was on for the kids to cross. This dude just kept speeding until he almost hit some of the kids who were crossing the street. He was able to swerve out of the way, but he almost flipped his car doing so. He got out screaming at the kids for being in the middle of the road, so I had to get out and protect them and also remind this dummy that he broke the law. How do people still not know you have to stop for a school bus crossing? I hope to goodness that you called the cops and reported this guy, because I don't know if this individual needs a license. If you're a grown person and you don't know to stop at a school bus crossing, and I know there's gonna be people in the comments that are like, well, depending on the road. Okay, clearly in this case, it was a road he was supposed to stop. You're gonna really hurt somebody one day. That needs to be checked out, in my opinion. Those stories are wild. Did you have a favorite? Is there one that just blew your mind that you couldn't believe it actually happened to a person? Let me know in the comments. I want to know which one you picked. I know which one I picked. I'm going to try to remember to put in the comments and pin it. Y'all know I have a problem with remembering to pin things. But seriously, bus drivers just can't make this stuff up. I hope you enjoyed this. Also, let me know in the comments what occupation I need to focus on next. I really love being able to bring attention to these underpaid professionals who have to deal with things that we just can't make up. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell down at the bottom so that you can be notified of the next hilarious story compilation that we have going. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you for joining me. And as always, I love you guys. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.